Welcome back to the news at 10. The Anambra State Government has signed a memorandum of understanding with an investment company, Chelsea Group Limited, for the development of a large-scale commercial agriculture project worth 68 billion naira in Anyamelum local government area. According to the state governor, Willie Obiano, the project has the potential to contribute to the state's transformation agenda.
Members of the Chelsea Agro Group arrive in Government House in Awka, Anambra State, for the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the development of a mechanized large-scale commercial agricultural project in the state. The chairman of the group, Mr. Patrick Jidolue, commended the governor for improving the state of security, while promising to complete the project in record time.
One thing we have going for us in Anambra State that made it attractive for us to come down here and we strategize our business is that there is security in Anambra State. Our intention is that now that it's possible that we can cultivate and participate in economic development in Anambra, we will not waste any time. We will try our best in a very record time to achieve great success.
Responding, the state governor, Willie Obiano, is optimistic the project, when completed, will not only check the challenge of food security, but also generate jobs for the teeming unemployed youths in the state.
I'm happy that this project, when it's fully done, will take 1,000 people direct and over 2,000 or more indirect staff, which is critical. Because our objective in agriculture is not only to be self-sufficient in food production and also to export food, it's also to create job opportunities.
The signing of this latest MoU by the Anambra State government is expected to ensure the state is sufficient in the production of cassava, maize, as well as soya beans.
The Niger Delta Development Commission has appointed a new managing director. He's Mr. Nsima Ekere, who takes over the reins from Mrs. Ibim Seminiteri. At the inauguration in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, the chairman of the NDDC board, Senator Victor Ndomaegba, asked the new governing board to ensure the development of the region remains their priority.
The Niger Delta region has been in the spotlight over the years for reasons known to many, with oil pollution being the most prominent. This and the destruction of pipelines by vandals. The years of neglect of the region informed the creation of the Niger Delta Development Commission 16 years ago to oversee development in the area. The commission has over the years had different people heading its affairs, and today is another change of pattern. On hand to oversee the transition is the chairman of the NDDC board, Senator Ndomaegba.
The NDDC will henceforth be guided by the guiding principles of the administration: transparency, accountability, rule of law, and due process.
For the outgoing acting managing director, it was an honor to be a part of history and service.
The only constant thing in life is change, and today marks another handover button. The good thing about a relay race is that all those running are set to achieve one goal: brace the tape and grab the medal for their team.
The new helmsman says it's all about hitting the ground running to meet up with the objectives of the commission.
We need to find new partners to help us execute our mandate for the Niger Delta. We need to strengthen existing relationships to ensure that all stakeholders are working towards common goals and promote the peace that is very necessary for the redevelopment of the region.
Where one door closes, another opens. Now all eyes will be on the new leadership to see if it makes the desired impact in the development of the region.
Let's take a look at some health issues now. To sustain the gains made in the past years and ensure transition from malaria control to malaria elimination in Nigeria is achieved, a strategic private sector partnership is crucial. At the launch of a document which outlines the role the private sector can play in malaria elimination in the country, the chairman of the Dangote Foundation, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, said everyone must be involved through a unified approach.
Nigeria accounts for 32% of global estimates of 655,000 malaria deaths annually, with women and children significantly affected. This launch of a document to guide the engagement of the private sector in the elimination of malaria in Nigeria, funded by the Dangote Foundation in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health, is geared towards bridging the significant funding gap, which is expected to strengthen the capacity of the nation's healthcare system to combat malaria.
Over the last 10 years, the government of Nigeria and partners have actually committed over $1.3 billion to ensure that malaria is brought under control. Although these efforts have led to significant reduction of malaria prevalence by more than 8%, much more needs to be done. Through my foundation, in addition to our nutrition agenda, we continue to contribute funds to support the government.
For the private sector, engaging malaria is a win-win. One, it will help us not only to deliver on SDG 3, which is to ensure health for all, handling it to improve the environment. In fact, 5 of the SDGs can be tackled just by handling malaria alone.
Some private sector players also share their thoughts on the need to have better coordination of resources when it comes to private sector support in Nigeria's health sector.
Private sector engagement in health till recently has been fragmented and uncoordinated. The Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria presents a compelling platform to pool private sector resources, expertise, innovation, and capabilities to have impact at scale that is larger than underlying corporate initiatives.
Our goal is to bring other private sector companies along with us, make sure that all of our employees have the right education, everybody knows about bed nets, they have them, everybody knows about the rapid diagnostic test, they know to take artemisinin. So that's really what this is about.
In the next 6 to 12 months and beyond, private sector involvement in malaria elimination in Nigeria is expected to cover public education, capacity building, direct funding, and the provision of malaria commodities.
Let's take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Millicent Walker.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Gemma. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's headline consumer inflation reaches 18.3% in October, higher by 0.83% from September and 0.48% over a year period. A set of new data released early today by the Statistics Office shows food sub-index higher at 17.1%, while all items except farm produce climbed to 18.1%. The data shows inflation in urban centers worse by 0.81% last month to 15.3%, while inflation in rural areas also climbed higher to 13.3%. Contributing to the surge in headline consumer inflation last month were high prices of food, energy and transportation. Today's October inflation comes just a week before the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee meets next week Monday and Tuesday to decide on interest rate direction for the last time in 2016. And there's a need for Nigerian financial institutions to be more conscious of the commodities being financed for export. This is coming from the former Chief Executive of Nigeria Export-Import Bank, Mr. Robert Oya. Commenting on government's rediscounting facilities program for exporters, Mr. Oya says the responsibilities of trade financing should not be left for government alone.
The commodities that we are financing are seasonal in nature. And you have situations where when customers want money at the right time for them to be able to procure these commodities so that they will be able to produce at a lower cost. Most of the times the banks are not conscious about it. And then you talk about the high cost of trade finance. Of course, that is something that one can keep talking about it. But it is heartwarming that the federal government has put on about $500 billion to finance export with trade finance inclusive. And I do know that Exim Bank was giving a refinancing and rediscounting facility by the Central Bank of Nigeria of 50 billion naira, and that money is dedicated to trade finance. So I think a whole lot is being done to see how we can get some financing, we can get some of the risks, that our entrepreneurs are facing in the trade finance, market.
And the Nigerian equities market opened the week in red as the bearish run extended into a second consecutive trading session. Here's Harriet Agbe with more on the numbers.
Profit-taking dominated the first trading day of the week on the back of losses posted by some market movers in the oil and gas as well as consumer goods sectors. 70 basis points was shaved off the key broad index, which finished at 25,986.61 with a market capitalization of 8.94 trillion naira. Total volume of shares traded was 160.90 million, valued at 1.11 billion naira. Apathy for major movers was low today, with MTI the most actively traded equity, with 33 million units exchanged. Market breadth closed negative as there were 10 gainers versus 22 losers. Penny stocks, May & Baker, Wapik Insurance and livestock feeds were the best performers for the day. But on the other hand, some market movers including Forte Oil, Honeywell Flour Mills and Cadbury were the top 3 losers. Those are the day's trading figures. I'm Harriet Agbini.
Thank you, Harriet. And the world's markets traded mixed today following the impressive performance of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's take a look. And that's it on Business News. It's back to Ijama for the rest of the news.
You first. First Bank.
Next on the news at 10, Japan's Kei Nishikori stuns world number 3 Stanislas Wawrinka 6-2, 6-3 at the ATP World Tour Finals in London. That'll be on sports. Stay with us.